Hello, what's up, everybody? So today we're gonna go over the Rachel Wood testified before a house, um, and we're gonna play this clip real quick. I haven't really watched all of these yet, so you're gonna be watching it basically the first time with me, and yeah, let's see what she's got to say, because I've already heard most of it, but you know.
Wood, and I'm an artist, but I am also a domestic violence and sexual assault survivor and the single mother of a young boy. When I was 5 years old, I started working in film, and every day since then I've worked to reach the very privileged place I'm aware that I occupy. And I'm here today to use my position as an artist, survivor, mother, and advocate to bring a human voice to the population of 25 million survivors in the U.S. who are currently experiencing inequality under the law and who desperately need basic civil rights. I struggle to speak to you today because I'm not sure what words are appropriate when discussing this issue. However, if you can't hear the whole truth, you will never know true empathy, and I believe in the saying, if we have to live through it, then you should have to hear it. There are two specific instances of sexual assault and violence I have experienced that really stick out in my mind. In fact, they are burned into my brain, branded there for life, a mental scar that I feel every day.
Okay, first of all, let's just stop right there. Burned in her brain, okay, as in burned in her brain when she did all that cocaine. Like, me personally, I don't feel like anybody can point fingers at somebody else when they've done just as much dirt, or if not, like, look at all the shit that happened with Johnny Depp. He was innocent, and everybody thought he was guilty. You know, he's not even, like, in movies anymore right now, and I hope that he gets back to making movies because he was one of the best actors. Manson has some of the best albums. He makes really good music. He has a large fan base. He has a fan base like no other, and those fans, like myself, are loyal to him no matter what. And it hurts to hear somebody talk so badly about him. And I understand that if you're into other shit like BDSM or whatever the fuck that's called there, like whatever, that's your privacy in the bedroom. And you know, I feel like when these people go do these things, like the instant something like this happens, they should say something then. Don't wait years later to say something, because first of all, I've had people accuse me of shit that I've never even done. Like, straight up. Like, I've had women say that I've slept with them that I've never even fucking touched in my lifetime, and I don't know why my light keeps fucking blinking, but it's starting to annoy me. Sorry about that, guys. So for somebody like me, I feel like when people accuse me of shit that I've never done to them, I feel like it's kind of fucked up. And, you know, for her to go in front of the house, I'm not saying that she's not wrong, you know what I'm saying, so to speak, but I feel like instead of doing this 10 years down the fucking road, she should have done it the minute it happened, you know. And yeah, let's just go on.
Experience with domestic violence was this.
Oh, and one other thing. I've been through a domestic violence relationship. None of it's healthy. And if any of you guys are in a domestic violence relationship, please seek help and get out of there, because it is not good for you. It's not good for your children. It's not good for anybody. And I'm just saying that right now. Like, I've only been in one domestic abusive relationship, and we're both at fault. And honestly, like, I could never, ever go through that relationship ever again. But it was probably one of the hardest relationships I ever had to go through, because it was just so crazy and intense and insane that I just, you know what I mean? Like, she was very, very abusive, and, you know, I was probably abusive myself. I never laid hands on her or anything like that, but we definitely exchanged words, and she definitely fucking hit me more than once, and I should have called the cops probably when all that shit happened. But I'm not a cop caller, so, you know, there's that.
Toxic mental, physical, and sexual abuse, which started slow but escalated over time, including threats against my life, severe gaslighting and brainwashing, waking up to the man that claimed to love me, raping what he believed to be my unconscious body. And the worst part, sick rituals of binding me up by my hands and feet to be mentally and physically tortured until my abuser felt I had proven my love for them. In this moment, while I was tied up and being beaten...
So, if you're being tied up, so why would you get with somebody who has such music that has words that talks about would you kill for me? You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Like, he talks about all this shit in his music. So when you say I wanted a bad boy and I got the ultimate bad boy, like, you got what you asked for. I'm not saying that you asked for all of this, but for a good portion of this bullshit, like, you you somewhat had to know what you was getting yourself into. You can't just say you went full in on this relationship thinking that you was gonna get sunshine and flowers from Manson, because we all know Marilyn Manson, the last name Manson, serial killer Manson. You know what I'm saying? And then yeah, it's just fucked up to me. Like, I can't stand to listen to these people talk this shit. It's like, so if I knew somebody was fucked up like that, and, you know, the thing is, too, is like any other fucking time I've seen Manson with do interviews or anything with people and shit, and, you know, I'm sure he's done some sick and twisted shit, but that's between him and the person that's closed doors. You know what I'm saying? If they didn't want to do it, they don't have to do it. Like, they can say no. Like, I understand if you're scared or whatever, but ultimately, in this life, you always have a choice. So keep that in mind. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You don't have to go along with the plan just because somebody else wants to do something. You can just clearly say no. And if they do it anyways, then call the fucking cops. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to go through this bullshit.
Beaten and being told unspeakable things, I truly felt like I could die, not just because my abuser said to me, I could kill you right now, but because in that moment I felt like I left my body and I was too afraid to run. He would find me.
So on another note, he would kill her. Do you think Manson's ever killed anybody realistically? Like, let's be honest here. I don't think he has. Honestly, I think he has some fucked up kinky sex probably. But beyond that, I don't really think he is what all these people are making him out to be. And I've seen interviews and him interact with fans where he was the most gentle and kindest person in the world. So to hear all this stuff is really cringy and just horrified, because I also feel like, look at the way she dresses sometimes, not in this video, but like other videos. She wears like all the makeup and she does look pretty and all that good stuff. Like, whatever, I get it. But she looks like she has a dark side to her. She looks like she has something to hide herself. Like, she looks like she's just as guilty as some fucked up shit as he is. Just because you went through this stuff and you liked it then, and you all of a sudden realized that what you did back then wasn't what you would do today, or it doesn't seem to fit in with your lifestyle today. Okay, so let me be clear. I was a heavy drug user as like a teenager in my 20s. I recently just got sober like 5 years ago. So I used to stick needles in my arm. I used to shoot dope every day. Whatever, okay? It is what it is. I admit that I was at the wrong, okay? But that's not who I am today. Just because I'm not that person today doesn't mean I'm going to go say, well, it was my dealer's fault because he shot me up, or it was my, you know, this girl's fault because I was hanging out with her the whole time and I used to shoot up with her, and you know, you can't blame everybody else for shit that you do too. Like, if you're willing to do it at the time, then you're willing. Just because you realized when you tell people about your sexual experiences on how fucked up they are, that's your fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a feeling that she's kind of fucked up in the head too. Like, I feel like she has a dark side to her. And I feel like that's why when they got together that they made a really good couple at first. And the thing is too is she goes back on her words. Like, I've heard her say that they weren't having sex and then they were having sex. So I would like to know the real truth to this. What is the real truth? I'm gonna play the video for a little bit longer and actually try to listen and not talk so much. But yeah,
I froze. And it was as if I could see myself from the outside, and for the first time in months, I felt something, utter shame and despair. I had no idea what to do to change my situation, so I went numb, and soon I couldn't feel anything. I wasn't alive. My self-esteem and spirit were broken. I was deeply terrified, and that fear lives with me to this day. What makes me more hurt...
So, if she was so feared, you would see it on her face in a lot of pictures with Manson. She wouldn't look so happy, but she's grinning cheek to cheek, okay? They were on a lot of drugs. She's done a lot of drugs. And when you're on a lot of drugs, you do shit that you don't realize at the time that's fucked up. So, when I was on drugs, I did a lot of fucked up shit. I robbed people I probably shouldn't have robbed. I stole from good friends that I shouldn't have stole from. I did shit that I really should have never done. Straight up, just a bunch of shit I should have never done. But in all reality, realistically, you can't, like I've said before, you can't blame other people just because they were in on it. Okay, yes, I've had badder influences on me where I went and did fucked up shit I probably would have never done if I wasn't hanging out with that person. But at the same time, I'm not going to blame them for my mistakes, okay? I was fucked up too. I was also in the wrong. I can't sit there and point fingers at somebody else when I'm doing shit just as bad as everybody else. So for her to say that, all that shit, I just feel like a lot of it is way out of context. And then her saying that she was grooming her. Bitch, you was 19, okay? You're not a fucking teen. A teen or underage would be like under 18. That's why we have these laws, okay? First of all. Second of all, he's already being investigated by the FBI. He already lost his record label. Okay, I was looking forward to the box set this year of the vinyl collection of the Interscope that was supposedly rumored to be released this year. Who knows if we're actually going to get that shit now. And all his old shit is super expensive, and I've seen some of his fans already start selling shit. Listen, if you're already selling his shit, you ain't a true Manson fan anyways. So, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Hurt and more angry than the actual rape and abuse itself was that piece of me that was stolen, which altered the course of my life. Because of this abuse, my already spiritless person, when I was pushed onto the floor of a locked storage closet by another attacker after hours at a bar, my body instinctively knew what to do. Disappear, go numb, make it go away. Being abused and raped previously made it easier for me to be raped again, not the other way around. And not a day goes by when I don't hear the words this man whispered into my ear over and over. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. And then my small voice sang back, no, 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 until it faded into nothing. And I remember the feeling of shutting down or freezing and utter shock taking over, and I couldn't even make a sound. I felt a piece of me disappear, a piece that has never returned. In other words, I was not fine, and I am not fine. So often we speak of these assaults as no more than a few minutes of awfulness, but the scars last a lifetime. Even though these experiences happened a decade ago, I still struggle with the aftermath.
So listen, that happened a decade ago, okay? And I understand that shit never goes away. You always gonna remember certain shit in your head, and that's just the way life is. You know what I'm saying? You can't do shit to escape what you already know. You know what I'm saying? Once something's embedded in your brain, it's pretty much there. I blocked a lot of shit out from when I was a kid because of certain situations in my lifetime, and me and my family have been through a fucking lot in our lifetime, and I ain't gonna go into it now. But it's so much shit that I've started writing my own book, and I'm going to release it to the world, and I'm going to show people what, me and my family have been through. And yeah, it's some fucked up shit, you know what I'm saying? Some of my closest friends were raped. Some of my family members were raped, you know what I'm saying? So it's no joke. I understand it, and I get it, and I feel like if you really were raped, don't do something about it a decade later. Do something about it now. And I understand being scared and shit, but Jesus Christ, you have a fucking choice in life. You always have a choice.
My relationship suffers, my partners suffer, my mental and physical health suffers. 7 years after my rapes, plural, I was diagnosed with long-term PTSD, which I had been living with all that time without knowledge about my condition. I simply thought I was going crazy. I struggled with depression, addiction, agoraphobia, night terrors. So many times a sleeping partner of mine has awoken to their love screaming in the night and gasping for air in a pool of sweat after having some sort of vivid dream of my abuser or hearing them say my name so loudly in my ear. The feeling of paralysis returns when there's a loud noise and I'm home alone, convinced someone is coming to hurt me. I stay awake all night clutching a baseball bat, which began to replace my distraught and absent partners as...
Okay, so first of all, one thing that also is bad too is when you're on all those drugs too, that shit doesn't make anything any better. So she's only making it worse for herself by going through all these drug addictions, and I'm sure when she was with Manson, they obviously did a lot of coke and a lot of drugs, probably like X, Molly, whatever, you fucking name it. I'm sure they did it. And I'm sure she had a great time doing a lot of those drugs too, because there's photos of her doing those drugs, and even Rachel herself was trying to get those photos taken down from Facebook. And they're the ones of her dressed up like a fucking Nazi bitch. Like, so she wants to sit there and call Manson racist and all this shit, and fucking, she's a fucking hypocrite is what she is. Straight up.
Trust and touch became increasingly more difficult. I struggled with self-harm to the point of 2 suicide attempts, which landed me in a psychiatric hospital for a short period of time. And this was, however, a turning point in my life when I started seeking professional help to deal with my trauma and mental stress, but others are not so fortunate, and because of this, rape is often more than a few minutes of trauma, but a slow death. And this bill is just one step in the right direction of setting the bar higher for what's right and what the standard will be that we set for society. This, the recognition of basic civil rights for sexual assault survivors serves as a first step. It's a safety net that may help save someone's life one day. And even though we've passed this bill at a federal level, there's still work to be done. And in order to ensure that all survivors are protected under that law, we need to pass the Sexual Assault Survivor Bill of Rights in all 50 states. We've done this in 9 so far, and it's our job to make sure that survivors in the remaining 41 are treated with the same humanity and dignity. And this is called progress, so it starts here.
So, I get what she's trying to do, and I understand that. It's probably good for a lot of other people. But the fact that she couldn't name Marilyn Manson in that, and that she didn't come out until like a couple months ago and say that it was him, is like a bunch of bullshit. Amber's allegations next. In my next video, we'll probably be watching at least one more Rachel video that I have coming up. So anyways, that's all I got for today. Hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't already. And, yeah, stay safe. Have a great day. Peace.